Shalom, my name is Rabbi Yosef Hilton. On my left is Rabbi Norman Beaton. And on his left, as usual, is Rabbi Jeremy Beaton.
Shalom.
Shalom. Welcome to Forever Israel and another session of Hebrew Bible Secrets. We continue the study of the book of Revelation, reading from chapter 10, verse 1. And I saw another mighty Malach angel come down from Shamayim heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was like as it were the sun, and his feet like pillars of fire. 2. And he had in his hand a little scroll, open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the dry ground. 3. And cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roars. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. 4. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from Shammai saying to me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. 5. And the Malach angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the dry ground, lifted up his hand to Shamayim to heaven. 6. And swore by him that lives forever and ever, who created the Shamayim heaven, and the things that are there, and the earth, and the things that are there, and the sea, and the things which are there, that there should be in time no more, no longer. 7. But in the days of the voice of the 7th Malachim, the angel, when he shall begin to blow the shofar, the mystery of Yahweh should be finished. And he has declared to his servants the prophets, as he has declared to his servants the prophets. 8. And the voice which I heard from Shamayim spoke to me again and said, go and take the little scroll which is open in the hand of the Malach angel, which stands upon the sea and upon the dry ground. 9. And I went to the Malach angel and said to him, give me the little scroll. And he said to me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make your belly bitter, but it shall be in your mouth sweet as honey. 10. And I took the little scroll out of the messenger's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. 11. And he said to me, you must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings.
Amen.
Amen. Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Should we read on then? Go to chapter 11, Rabbi?
Yes, chapter 11, heading, the theme of the celebration of weeks, Shavuot, Pentecost. Chapter 11, verse 1. 1. And there was given to me a reed like a measuring rod. And the Malach angel stood, saying, rise and measure the Beit Hamikdash temple of Yahweh, and the altar, and them that paid homage there. 2. But the court which is outside the Beit Hamikdash temple, leave out, and measure it not, for it is given to the Gentiles. And the set apart city shall they tread under foot 3.5 years. 3. And I will give power to my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 3.5 years, clothed in sackcloth. 4. These are the 2 olive etzim trees, and the 2 candlesticks standing before the master of the earth. 5. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeds out of their mouth, and devours them, their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. 6. These have power to shut the Shamayim heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with a plague, with all plagues as often as they will. 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them, and kill them. 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually is called Sedom, and Mitzrayim, Egypt, where also their master was impaled. 9. They of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3.5 days, and shall not allow their dead bodies to be put in graves. 10. And they that dwell upon the province of the Middle East shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these 2 prophets tormented them that dwelt on the land. 11. And after 3.5 days, the Ruach spirit of life from Elohim entered into them, and they stood up upon their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. 12. And they heard a great voice from Shamayim heaven, saying to them, Come up here. And they ascended up to Shamayim heaven in a cloud, and their enemies stared at them. 13. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake killed 7,000 men, and the remnant were afraid, and gave glory to Yahweh of Shamayim heaven. 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe comes quickly. The theme of the day of trumpets, of great blowing of the shofarim. Verse 15. And the 7th messenger blew the shofar, and there were great voices in Shamayim heaven, saying, The kingdom of this world is become the kingdom of our master and of his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever. 16. And the 24 elders which sat before Elohim on their seats fell upon their faces and petitioned Yahweh. 17. Saying, We give you thanks, O Master Yahweh, El Shaddai Almighty, the one who is and who was, because you have taken to you your great power and have reigned. 18. And the nations were angry, and your wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that you should give reward to your servants, the prophets, and to the Kiddushim set apart saints, and them that fear your name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth. 19. And the Beth Hamikdash temple of Yahweh was opened in Shamayim heaven, and there was seen in his Beth Hamikdash temple the ark of his covenant, and there were lightnings and voices and thundering and an earthquake and great hail.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi.
Amen. Baruch Hashem. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's go back to chapter 11 and look at some of the footnotes there.
Okay.
So, excuse me.
Chapter 11 or 10?
Chapter 11.
There's no footnotes in 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have the first footnote, which, let's have a look. And there was given to me a reed like a measuring rod, and the Malek stood saying, Rise and measure the Beth Hamikdash, the temple of Yahweh, and the altar, and them that paid homage there. So let's have a look at this word, homage. Paid homage there. These words. Note, this time only the altar will be set up, not the whole temple. The Hebrew people have been trying to rebuild a millennial temple. However, they will be unsuccessful according to scripture, as the temple is not built until Messiah comes. Many could be killed by radical Islamists in retaliation attacks. It would be foolish to join in any such endeavor. So, we're just saying here now, those people who are trying to build a temple in Israel, they shouldn't be doing that. We have to wait until Messiah comes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So let's have a look at the next footnote, which is, For it is given to the Gentiles, and the set apart city shall they tread underfoot 3.5 years. So the word Gentiles here is the Muslims. Okay, so understand this word Gentiles is relating specifically to the Muslims. Okay? So the next footnote we have, and have power over waters to turn them to blood. So from this many conclude that it will be Moses, but this is not necessary. The blood is simply showing us a repeat of the 10 plagues on Pharaoh. In this case, the anti-Messiah and his armies. So we're talking about the plagues returning now. So this is obviously the two prophets that will obviously preach, will have, the ability to bring plagues, in the land. So this is what we're talking about here.
This is Elijah and Zerubbabel.
Zerubbabel, yes. Okay. Let's have a look at the next footnote. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. So the Islamic radicals will kill the two prophets, both Elijah and Zerubbabel. Note, it cannot be Moses because he was not killed by Pharaoh, and this is an important consideration. So it's just Elijah and Zerubbabel who will be killed by the Muslims, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move to the next footnote, which is verse 8. And where also their master was impaled. So we've got two footnotes here, master and impaled. So let's have a look at this. The first one, the Aramaic earlier Greek manuscripts read in Jerusalem. So we're talking about obviously Yahushua, who was impaled in Jerusalem. So this is where the reference is related to, yeah? It's Jerusalem. Okay. And the next footnote, which is in 9, their dead bodies to be put in graves. Let me read the whole verse. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3.5 days, and shall not allow their bodies or their dead bodies to be put in graves. Let's have a look at this word graves. This is a common Islamic trait, to leave the dead in the street so that they can make an example to the others. So the bodies will be left in the streets for 3.5 days, to be made an example of. Okay?
Yes.
So let's go to verse 10. And they dwell upon the province of the Middle East. Let's look at this word Middle East. Here the Hebrew word eretz, which is behind the Greek word gi, means a province only and not the entire world. So we're just talking about the province here. We're talking about the Middle East, yeah? Mm-hmm. And not the entire world. Yeah. Okay.
So this tribulation will be happening mostly in that area of the world?
It's going to be happening in that area, yeah, around the Middle East.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's the Most High's focus is on that area and that land. That's why it's important.
Exactly. And these are where the radicals are going to be rising up from as well. So let's go to the next footnote, which is, and shall send gifts to one another. The Palestinian people will rejoice and send candy to each other and gifts to celebrate the death of these two prophets. So these two prophets are really going to torment them. Yeah, so obviously, once they died, they're going to be celebrating, Thank God it's over, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. They're going to be celebrating. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote. Because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the land. So we're talking about the land. The land here is now Israel.
Yes.
Israel and Israel only. Yeah?
Yes.
Next footnote, 11, verse 11. And after 3.5 days, the Ruach, the spirit of life from Elohim, entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them, which saw them. So when they see them resurrected back to life, the local Palestinian people will be really afraid, and the news will spread fast via TV and radio. So this is going to be publicized worldwide.
Yes.
That these two prophets have been resurrected and have gone back up to the Shamayim. So this is going to be worldwide news here. Yeah.
Well, this could be the first time that two people have been risen up, and a whole people are going to see this happen. So
exactly.
It's going to be,
It's going to be an amazing sight. Yeah.
Actually make a few people believe.
Well, this is
and change.
Yeah, we're about to get to that now. So that's a very good point. So the next footnote here, and I'll just read verse 13. And the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake killed 7,000 men. And the remnant were afraid and gave glory to Yahweh of Shemaim. So the remainder of the radicals will turn to repentance to Yahweh. Here are some Muslims coming back to belief. So this is what it's going to take for some Muslims to actually come back to realize that Yahweh is the creator of the universe and not Allah. Yeah?
Yes.
And some of them will now realize, it's Yahweh. It's keeping the commandments now. This is where we need to return back to. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so the next footnote we have is in verse 19. And the Beth Hamikdash, the temple of Yahweh, was opened in Shemaim, in the heavens. And they were seen in his Beth Hamikdash temple, the ark of his covenant. And there were lightnings and voices. And there were lightnings, and voices, and thundering, and an earthquake, and a great hail. So let's have a look at the Ark of the Covenant here. The original one which Moses made, the copy on earth. Let's have a look at the second footnote, which is, and the great hail. The same big boulders are mentioned in Ezekiel 38:22. So Rabbi, if we could get Ezekiel 38:22, please.
Yeah, Ezekiel 38:22 reads, and I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him and upon his troops and upon many people that are with him, an overflowing rain and great hailstones, fire and brimstone. There's a couple of footnotes in there as well,
Okay.
7 and 8. The first one is 7, which is, this is not a normal hail, but heavy boulders that will fall on the Islamic armies. Okay? And footnote 8 is, the simple plagues as done on Pharaoh in Egypt. So there'll still be, swords, boils, hail,
all the
fire
plagues,
and brimstone.
all the plagues are coming back. So this is, this is what we're talking about. So we're talking when we say, things are repeated in the Torah, twice. So this will be the second time that these plagues will be coming to the earth. Yeah, round about that area, that province of the Middle East. Okay, great. So Rabbi, could we now move to, let's see, have we done chapter 12?
No, I think we need to.
Yeah. Could we go into chapter 12 now?
Okay. Reading chapter 12, the title 10 Days of Awe.
Thank you for that.
Chapter 12, Revelation, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in Shemaim heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth pains. 3. And there appeared another wonder in Shemaim heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. 4. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of Shemaim heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, who was ready to give birth, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. 5. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up to Elohim and to his throne. 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by Elohim, which they should feed her there 1,260 days. 7. And there was war in Shemaim heaven. Michael and his Malachim angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his Malachim fought. 8. And they did not prevail, neither was their place found any more in Shemaim in the heaven. 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his Malachim angels were cast out with him. 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in Shemaim heaven, now is come rescue and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brothers, set apart saints, is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives to the death. 12. Therefore rejoice, you Shamayim, heaven, and you that dwell in them. Woe to the dwellers of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down to ye, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman, which brought forth the male child. 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth main water, as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. 17. And the dragon was very angry with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which guard and do the commandments of Elohim, and have the testimony of Yahushua. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay, let's go to the first footnote in chapter 12, which is verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in the Shamayim, in the heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So the woman is Israel. Mm-hmm. So the 12 stars are the 12 tribes of Israel. So this is what we're talking about here, yeah? Israel is the woman, and the 12 stars are the 12 tribes of Israel. Yeah? So let's go to the next footnote. And there appeared, verse 3, and there appeared another wonder in the Shamayim, in the heavens. And behold, a great red dragon. Let's look at this red dragon. This is relating to the evil one, Satan. So we're just talking about Satan here, yeah? The red dragon is Satan, okay? So if we go to verse 4, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of Shamayim, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, who was ready to give birth, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So Satan drew away a third of the Malakim, a third of the angels, in rebellion,
Yes.
and subsequently tried to destroy Israel. So this is going to be also the time of the tribulation. So this is when Satan is released, and he's obviously going to try and destroy Israel. Those who are keeping the commandments. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next verse, verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by Elohim, which they should feed her there 1,260 days. So in the wilderness for 1,260 days, or 3.5 years. That fits with Daniel 12 and 7. Mm-hmm. So if we could get Daniel 12 and 7. Excuse me.
Okay, Daniel 12 and 7 reads, And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his hand, his right hand and his left hand to the Shayamin, and swore by him that lives forever, that it shall be for a time, times and half. And then the one who shatters the power of the holy people has been exhausted. All things shall be finished. Here we go.
Okay.
Amen. No footnotes.
No footnotes. Okay. Thank you, Robert. So all things shall be finished, yeah?
Yes.
So obviously, Satan's going to obviously try and attack Israel, but those obviously who hold fast to the Torah, will be guarded by Hashem. Yeah. And obviously some in the Middle East obviously will have to die, because that's part of, prophecy. Yeah. So, but those who are outside Israel, obviously, you know, we're still going to be attacked by the radicals. So we too have to hold fast to the Torah, to make sure that we are covered by Hashem.
Can I just say the importance of the mezuzah, which is up on our doors, which is at this time, and the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
This is like a barrier for evil spirits to come through. Once they see the mezuzah up at your door, and that you attain to the commandments and the statutes, that's the threshold that they can't really get past.
Front of the door on the right, and then at the back window of your house.
Exactly.
Inside window.
So the Ten Commandments, obviously, the front and the back of the house. Is, you know, when you have the Siddur, then you read about these things, and the Siddur tells you, you know, this is part of the protection from Hashem to put the commandments up, you know, on your front door and at the back if you've got a back door as well.
Indeed.
You know, so as if we were in Israel, we would, carve them out on wood. You know, the commandments, so they're next to the house or next to the door. But obviously we're not in Israel, so right now, you know, we can print out the Ten Commandments and we put them up on the right-hand side of the door, for protection.
In Hebrew and English.
And at the back of the house or the flat or wherever you live, So this is protection as well.
Right, can I say something? If they will go to our website, they can even download it from our website, print it off themselves.
That's correct.
And laminate it.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Or you can contact us and we can send you one or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to verse 8. And they did not prevail, neither was their place found any more in Shamayim. So the messenger Michael fought on behalf of Israel, as he is set as the guardian messenger over our people, Israel. So Michael is our guardian angel, Yes. So he's the one who protects Israel and fights for Israel in the heavens. Okay, and on the earth. Right, so let's go to verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the male child. So let's have a look at this male child. Satan attacks Israel via the radical nations around Israel. So this is the weapon that Satan's going to be using to attack the true Israelites or those who are keeping the Torah, He's going to use the radicals to attack us. So, you know, this is why you need to be keeping the commandments. Okay, and verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings and of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. So the face of the serpent, nations such as the USA will come to the rescue and help of Israel in the times of the great trouble, just as if Joseph helped his parents while he was in Egypt. So, you know, USA, England, you know, these are the shepherd nations. These are the nations that are going to help Israel in the time to come, in the battle with the radicals. So let's look at the next footnote, verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth Ma'im, water, as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. So let's look at this word Ma'im. This means the Islamic radical nations. So you can imagine if there's a big flood of water, there's going to be a big flood of these radicals coming to attack Israel, or the people, who are keeping the commandments.
So, and as we know, a flood will destroy and drown and kill people.
Exactly.
So the radicals are coming to
do exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
As if it were a great flood. Okay, so the next footnote is from verse 17. And the dragon was very angry with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which guard and do the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yahushua. So let's look at this word testimony first. Torah-keeping saints, Satan is not interested in backsliding and non-Torah keeping Christians. They are not a threat to him, but the Torah keepers are a threat to him and his kingdom. Let's read that again. Torah-keeping saints.
Yes.
Satan is not interested in backsliding and non-Torah keeping Christians. They are not a threat to him, but the Torah keepers are a threat to him and his kingdom. So you see, those of us who are keeping the Torah, are going to be the threat to Satan. He's not interested in anybody else because, they're not keeping Torah, so he has them already. Yeah. But us, he hasn't got. See, Hashem has us, and he wants us. He wants us to backslide, and he wants us, to fall away from the commandments. So therefore, when we come together as a nation in Israel back into the land, this is when Satan's rule is over. So this is why he has to attack us. This is why he's coming after us when he's released.
You see, Rabbi, something comes to mind. In verse 9 of chapter 12, it talks about him who deceives the whole world. So the whole world is deceived, which means that the whole world doesn't understand, is not aware about keeping the Torah. Torah is the principle Yahweh and Jesus, Master Yeshua, wants us to keep. So Satan has deceived the world to keep religions or do not believe, like people who call themselves atheists and all the other different types of religion we've heard. That is the big deception that people are into.
Exactly.
So he's not concerned about them because he's got them in his pocket already.
That's right.
But those who are keeping Torah, that's why he's going to attack Israel.
Exactly.
Well, that's why we go back to the dress rehearsal.
Yes.
If we understand the principles of the dress rehearsal, Torah, that is our blueprint that we learn forward and go forward into.
Yeah.
We understand Torah. Mm-hmm. This is the principle of the dress rehearsal. So we understand the statutes, the commandments. That's what, the devil doesn't want us to know.
That's right.
So
he doesn't want us to return back to.
That's right.
And we cannot emphasize it, these are the very same principles that he gave Adam when he created him. He says, I change not. And the same today, yesterday, and forever. So the Torah which he gave to Adam is the same. And Abraham lived it and taught it. Shem. In fact, Shem was the son of Noah who taught Abraham.
Indeed.
And it's the same today.
Exactly. So we must return back to the commandments.
Yes, the Torah is the only way.
So this is your rescue. Once you have Torah, then you have salvation. Then you have, you have the eternity. You have life. You have everlasting life. Indeed. But you must return back. So just let me finish this last footnote here.
Yes.
So we have the testimony of Yahushua. So the testimony of Yahushua. Yahushua here says manuscripts omit the word Messiah. So it's actually saying Messiah. Yeah.
Yes.
So with that, we say we thank you for watching, and we will see you on the other side. And shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Thank you for watching.